most important thing you folks can do for us today is report this news as accurately as we can give it to you so that the people of Columbia County know exactly what took place. And as this moves forward, because this is an ongoing investigation, some of this information will be updated. Some of it may change as we continue this investigation. Yesterday, at approximately 6:24 p.m., deputies from the Columbia County Sheriff's Office initiated a traffic stop on a motorhome driven by James Blake Montgomery on Interstate 20 in the eastbound lanes of traffic between mile markers 193 and 194. That's just west of the Bel Air Road exit. As deputies approached the vehicle and spoke with the driver, Mr. Montgomery, he was cooperative, non-threatening. They informed him that they had a protective order, a temporary protective order for a domestic violence case between he and his wife, and that they needed to serve him with that protective order. He acknowledged what they needed to do. They told him he would not be an issue, that he would simply be served the order, and that he would be allowed to be free on his way. As two of the deputies turned to walk away from the motorhome to go back to their patrol vehicle, Mr. Montgomery produced a 9mm AR pistol that he had converted into a fully automatic weapon. And he fired on 3 deputies from the sheriff's office, striking 2 of them. One of those deputies was Deputy Brandon Sikes, who was killed on the scene during the altercation, and another deputy, Gavin White, who was struck 1 round in the face, but is alive and in critical condition. He is currently in surgery at AU, I guess we would say Wellstar now, where they are operating on his sinus cavity and oral cavity, trying to remove fragments, etc., save as much as they possibly can, and also conducting a neurological examination of Deputy White. I will say that he is able to communicate to them. He has the use of both his hands and his feet, so that is a positive sign according to the doctors, but he is going to take a long time to recover. I can assure you it's going to be a tough road for him, but he is very upbeat, incredibly strong, and we're hoping that he comes back to full duty in record time. Unfortunately, we're going to have a funeral for a very brave officer who has been with us since 2018. He's one of our crime suppression officers. His name is Brandon Sikes. He is survived by his wife, Amber, who is also an employee here of the sheriff's office. And it's going to be a difficult time from the sheriff's office, but we're going to get through this. We just ask that everyone keep us in their thoughts and prayers. I can keep going down this road, but I'd like to stop for a minute and just thank some people, and then I'll try and take some of your questions if I can. Last night, we were assisted by numerous agencies. Of course, Columbia County Fire Rescue immediately came to the scene and assisted in every manner possible, both medically and extraction-wise. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office, the Richmond County Marshal's Office, the Burke County Sheriff's Office, the Georgia State Patrol, Department of Natural Resources for the state of Georgia, some bomb squad members from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the bomb squad members from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division came over to assist us. The ATF, the U.S. Marshal Service were also on scene assisting us with that, and there's a reason for that. I'll get to it in a second. One of our local sheriffs from Oconee County came to assist me last night. As we processed through this scene last night, once we determined that Mr. Montgomery was deceased inside the motorhome, we could see items in the motorhome by way of the drones and the robot that resembled bomb material. And it was in fact that. Mr. Montgomery had pipe bombs and other paraphernalia in the motorhome, one of which was rigged with a remote switch inside the motorhome. So the GBI and the Richmond County Bomb Squad and SLED Bomb Squad had to work very diligently for several hours to be able to carefully breach that motorhome to get inside to be able to disarm the bomb that was inside the motorhome. Inside the motorhome, we found several more handguns, numerous magazines for that fully automatic AR that had been converted to fully auto, numerous boxes of additional ammo and things of that nature. We found some jars. I don't really know how to describe that other than to tell you they're clear jars with pipes coming out of them. There's some type of liquid in them. We do not know what that is at this time. We don't know whether that may be some type of bomb-making material or where it may be some type of drug paraphernalia. We do know that he was involved in a steroid operation where he was selling illegal steroids. So it could be that. We just don't know that yet. So for now, we don't have as many answers as we would like, but we will continue to update all of these answers for you as soon as we find those out. There's an autopsy going to be performed tomorrow on our Deputy Sykes. The suspect himself is now en route to the GBI crime lab in Atlanta, Georgia, as we have this conference here, and his will be done at a later date also. Those two autopsies hopefully will give us more answers to what actually took place out there on I-20 yesterday. So with that, I'll be glad to stop for a minute and answer some questions if I can possibly give you answers to the questions. No quick questions?
Sheriff, it's been reported by Montgomery's family and others that he had some kind of downward spiral in recent months, and that his behavior had gotten more and more increasingly irrational. He was in, or at least his case for this order that you're just describing, was in front of Judge Jolly just a couple days ago. Is there a way the system can better, I mean, what do you need to learn from all this? The system apparently has been told repeatedly this guy was a problem, and your men handled it as professionally as they could, but they were ambushed by this guy.
Unfortunately, this is what law enforcement is facing every day, Austin. The mental illness in this country is rampant, and nothing is being done about it. There's a lot of talk about it. There's a lot of words. Everybody wants to give people narcotics of some sort to fix their problems. But I think most of you know, as we do, that unless they take that medication diligently, there's just a lot of people out there that can't function in society, and they're a danger to society. Mr. Montgomery obviously was one of those people. The answer is to bring back more mental health institutions in our country. You know, one time, Milledgeville, Georgia, was known as the Mecca for mental health in the state of Georgia. And I'm here to tell you, I've personally seen that area, and it is a mere shell of what it used to be. Numerous buildings shut down. It almost looks like a ghost town. The buildings are pretty much still standing, but they're not housed, they're not used, they're not staffed. We have chosen a route, we as a society has chosen a route of just simply giving pharmaceutical drugs to people that are in a mental health crisis and putting them out on the street. You see them as the media just like we do every day. A lot of these people are homeless, and we deal with those homeless people. We, being law enforcement, deal with these homeless people every day. They are in a crisis. They are, almost every one of them that we deal with has a serious mental health issue. And until we come to terms with what we're going to do with these people and how we're going to deal with these people, we're going to continue to have this kind of tragedy. And our deputies are going to face the very things they faced yesterday, and they're going to have to keep picking up the pieces and doing it over and over again every day. I want to mention also, because it slipped my mind just a second ago, I want to mention one of those deputies. Deputy Andrew Brown, who works as a crime suppression officer with the sheriff's office also, was one of the officers out there during the initial assault by Montgomery. Fortunately, he was not struck himself. He was able to retrieve his AR carbine from his patrol car and return fire, along with Deputy Jared Mason, another deputy who was on the westbound side of the interstate. They both engaged the shooter themselves, and I think we'll know that for sure once we get forensic, but I think they are the ones that brought this fight to an end. But Andrew Brown, as he was engaging the suspect, saw Gavin White, our deputy that got shot in the face, drug him. One patrol car, to another patrol car, to another patrol car. Loaded him into that patrol car. All three of those patrol cars shot up by the suspect. Flat tires. Drove him immediately. Didn't wait for an ambulance to get there. Drove right through, past the bad guy in the motorhome, and drove him immediately to Doctor's Hospital to get him help. Probably saving his life, according to the doctors at Doctor's Hospital. And the whole time, he's still having to engage this madman with a fully automatic weapon out there on I-20. We got to stop this, Austin. This kind of mental health issue is not a place for jails, and it's not a place for homeless people on the street. It's a place that needs to be addressed by the medical community and our elected officials that fund those types of things here in the state of Georgia and across the entire nation.
You made reference to him engaging the officers here. Credible information that you've just seen from the surface of this beyond the autopsy that indicates that fire is what brought it to an end and not this gunman killing himself.
We don't have that yet. That's why I was saying once we get the autopsy, we should be able to know that. I can't guarantee it, but that's one of the purposes of having him go to Atlanta, Georgia to go through the autopsy. We do know that as he was trying to escape the scene, because he got back in the motorhome, put it in drive, and was trying to drive off, our officers were engaging him with their weapons. And he immediately started veering off to the left of the interstate, and he ultimately came to a stop. The three wire barriers that are in the middle of the interstate to prevent the crossover in an accident, that's what stopped the motorhome. And the motorhome, by the way, was pulling a pickup truck that belonged to him on the back of it. It had one of those tow bar systems set up on it. And he immediately, as he was driving away, immediately started veering off to the left, and they saw him moving in the motorhome, and the motorhome just simply crashed up against the wires in there. So I don't know if one of the officers got him yet or not. I suspect they did. I know for sure they were engaging him enough that he couldn't just get in that motorhome and drive away unassisted. They brought it to a stop right there on the highway. Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that the sheriff's office plans on doing to honor the fallen officer here in the near future?
Well, we're going to have to go through the service and things of that nature first, and then, of course, speak with the family, deal with his wife, and see what will be done. You know, a lot of this will be dependent upon the family, because our honor is not only to the officer but to his family and what their wishes are. His wife is a member of the sheriff's office. She is a member of this family, like everybody else. Any more questions?
Who exactly is conducting
So
the investigation?
the investigation is being conducted by the Regional Force Investigation Team. That is something we started years ago here in the CSRA. It started with the Sheriff's Office in Columbia County. The Burke County Sheriff's Office joined the team, and the Richmond County Sheriff's Office joined that team. So there will be multiple investigators from all three of those agencies involved in that force investigation. Any more questions?
I have another one.
Yes, ma'am?
You mentioned that there were bombs in the RV. Do we know like the kind of or what he was planning on using them for, just by looking at them, or any other details on that?
They are pipe bombs. They are what is considered pipe bombs. Some were just the bomb itself without anything attached to it. At least one of them was actively engaged with a remote switch on it. I think that was part of his destructive idea of what he was going to do in the end. There were rumors that he had said he would not go down without a fight, but again, those are rumors. We just know what was in that motorhome. The scary part on top of that is underneath that motorhome, there was, I think, 4 cylinders full of propane in the lower compartment storage area right below the floor system of where the bombs were. So it may have been a really big show out there if one of those things had gone off. It could have been extremely destructive out there on the street. Any more questions? Folks, as we get updates, especially through the crime lab and the autopsies and the things, and as the team, the force investigation team, finishes up their stuff, we will provide you with updates on the information that we do find out on this. Otherwise, I appreciate you being here today.